ought to be in pictures, or at least be in the Utica Camera Club. This Friday's workshop is titled 30 Places to Shoot Within 60 Minutes of Utica. The workshop begins at 7 p.m. at the Heritage Healthcare Center on Sunset Ave in Utica. Visit MohawkValleyLiving.com for more information.
Let's see.
It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip west to Oneida. First, we stop into C. Weaver Chevrolet on Commercial Drive to see what Andy has for us today. We're traveling in a new family sport van, a 2007 Chevy Uplander. What a way to see the beautiful architecture of the city of Oneida. The Oneida area was the last part of Madison County to become developed. When the canal and railroad came through in the early 1800s, the transportation opportunities for area farmers helped Oneida develop into a trading center. We'll be spending a few weeks learning about Oneida's interesting history, including its manufacturing and the Oneida community. We'll be utilizing the resources at the Oneida Public Library, with the guidance from Oneida historian David Elverd. David tells us that although Oneida was a late bloomer, it caught up quickly. Following the Civil War and a number of modern amenities and improvements, the village developed a diversified manufacturing base, including the production of carriages, cigars, cement blocks, and of course, flatware.
The history of Oneida would not be what it is today were it not for the business that is housed in this beautiful stone Tudor building behind me. I'm speaking, of course, of Oneida Limited. It has been a part of our history here since the 1800s. It employs hundreds of people. And you may remember it for its advertising. As we go inside here later, we're going to meet the president, and we're also going to see some of the illustrations that were very much a part of its advertising years ago. Today, they're very well known for their very unique and clever photography ads. For me, there's also a personal connection here because my wife's Aunt Olive worked here for years and years, and she was such a terrific example of the work ethic here and of the fine product for which Oneida Limited is known.
Let's see.
Oneida Limited, actually let's go back and talk about the community. About 160 years ago, John Humphrey Noyes and a group of perfectionists from Putney, Vermont, moved to upstate New York, bought land from the Oneida Indians, and in about 1880, in that range, they started producing flatware, silverware maybe some people call it. And we have produced flatware silverware here in Oneida up until just 2 years ago. What is being done now here at Oneida Limited is this is the world headquarters. There are about 215 people who work here and what we call knowledge jobs: design, information technology, procurement, logistics. It will really become a design, marketing, and supply chain company. Now, the factory just up the street that we owned for 100 plus years was purchased by a couple of the managers in the factory. And we have a long-term contract with them where we're still buying some of our products. They do all of our silver plating. The 215 people that I mentioned, and I know this because I keep track, have 4,520 years of experience with this company. And that's why we have kept the headquarters right here. This is the backbone. These are the brains of the organization, if you will, to support our worldwide operations.
Whether fate or destiny or plans from somewhere above, certain people were bound to meet to share a little.
70 years ago this November, something opened here on Main Street in Oneida, which was dubbed the showcase of upstate New York. We're going in there in a moment or two to show you a few of its secrets. And if you look at the marquee today, though, there's a bit of an April Fool's Day joke up there. Can you pick out what it is?
Way back home. Just trying to find my way back home.
When you walk into the entrance, be sure to notice the half-moon red Art Deco doors.
Just trying to find my way.
While you're in the lobby, catch a glimpse of the original showcases and the painted ceiling, and then take a very close look at the doors, because on the doors you'll find an inlaid K in the wood, which of course stands for Kellett. Inside, you can get the feeling for the atmosphere of an old-fashioned theater, and then if you look up toward the balcony area, you'll see something unique, because according to legend, there's a place up there where VIPs had a special viewing booth all their own. There were all kinds of attractions at this new theater known as the Calet, but probably the one that was the most outstanding, the one that people came here to see, was the Magic Fountain. Because you would walk up to this magic fountain, and just by walking toward it, the water would start squirting out magically. Nobody ever revealed the secret to that, even to this day. Today, the fountain doesn't spring to life when you walk up to it, but I think there's still a little bit of magic here.
Enjoy the magic of ballroom dancing at the Calet with Bruce Heffron. Learn ballroom dancing from area instructors tonight from 6 to 7 p.m. and enjoy dancing from 7 to 10.
On the Mohawk Valley.
You may want to remember that there are only 7 shopping days left until Easter. Now, Easter for a lot of people means candy. If you're a chocolate lover, and I have to think that there's more than a few of you out there, there is something here in Oneida on Route 5 next to Dunkin' Donuts. It's the only one between Syracuse and Albany. It's Meyer's Chocolate, and they make their own chocolate, and you can get anything and everything, including what I'm holding here, a 4-pound dog. And if you are so inclined, you could also put an order in for a 36-pound chocolate rabbit. As for myself, I found my favorite here, and that's raspberry cream. Wow, that is chocolate heaven.
It may be a stranger who helps you.
If you're shopping for someone special, head into the historic district of Oneida and deep into the past.
Keep you company.
W.J. Hinman Jewelers was started in 1881 by 2 brothers who were watchmakers. They eventually sold it to one of their daughters, who eventually sold it to a sister. And I'm not sure if the daughters were watchmakers, but one of them may have been probably the original. She sold it to our dad about 45, actually over 50 years ago, and for the last 16 years my brother and I have been partners. And we worked for our father for a number of years before we purchased the store. I just feel lucky to be a part, of history, and that we're able to keep the door going, keep it swinging, and we're very fortunate.
Just trying to find my way back home. Just trying to find my way back home. Just trying to find my way back home.
There are very few places in upstate New York where you can go to have dinner or lunch or breakfast, and the place is more than 150 years old. There's one here on Madison Street in Oneida. It's called the Madison House, and a lot of famous people have eaten here.
When I think of the places I've been and the people that I've met, there's really only a handful that I just can't forget. It seems every once in a while you meet.
There aren't all that many places you can go to eat where presidents have also eaten. If you come here to the Madison House, though, 3 presidents have eaten here: James Buchanan, Martin Van Buren, and the most famous of all, Abraham Lincoln. There are ledgers here too. Ask Chad to show them to you when you come in. The interesting story is this: the register that President Lincoln signed was stolen, but we know that it exists because Gussie Panzikas says so.
We were truly impressed with the great lunch we had, and we were surprised to find out that the owners fell into the business.
It was pretty funny. My mom and dad, they owned City Lanes for 23 years, and we knew the guy that owned this, Joe Rice, and he came up to me and asked me if we wanted to buy it, and next thing you know, we bought it, and here we are, 7 years later. I learned that it's very hectic, stressful, and you have to have a smile on your face at all times. But other than that, it's a great thing to do. It's fun, it's enjoyable to feed people and make them happy, and to have a good, nice, clean place like this.
Lincoln stopped here on his travels from Illinois to New York City. If you come here as you travel through the Mohawk Valley, today you can be given a free homemade dessert.
To see what we can see, traveling round the Mohawk Valley. Let's see what we can see. It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip.